Hey guys, Nitrox here, and today a giant snapshot came out, almost like an update. All this stuff will be in the 1.8 regular version coming out soon. So let's get to it. All of this stuff here is with the new temples, which we'll check out later. But for now, let's check out this called Coarse Dirt. Coarse Dirt is a type of dirt that makes the dirt sound, obviously, except for grass can't spread to it. It has a little bit of a different texture than regular dirt. It's a little bit of a darker texture, and grass can never spread to it, so it's much easier when you're building like a roadway, like you want to build like a racetrack that has a dirt road. You can put that in the grass, and the grass wouldn't spread to the dirt. So we'll check back at that later, just for me to prove to you that the grass doesn't spread to it. Okay, so here we have the sponge block and the wet sponge block. And you can see that the wet sponge block is kind of dripping particles all over. And by the way, my settings are all low for everything, because what the temple, the underwater temple that we're going to be going to soon is very, it's beta, I guess, so it causes a lot of lag, so I'm just keeping it like this. So yeah, so you know the sponge. Most of you know that the sponge has been in the game for a long time. But for a long time, it has had no use. In early Minecraft, it did what it does now. They like re-implemented it. But they nerfed it, and they never bring it back until now. So let's see what it does. I have this pool of water here. If we place down a sponge, it gets rid of all the water and gives you a wet sponge. So let's just get rid of all this water. So this is useful to bring out big areas of water. So like if you want to have an underwater base, instead of placing every block and then breaking it, you could just use this sponge block. Very helpful already. I've been playing some survival with this. Yeah. But now you may ask, how do I turn the wet sponge I got, since I'll tell you that you can't really craft the sponge, but it's obtainable in survival. You'll see why. But you might think, how do I make the wet sponge a sponge again? I barely have any. Well, all you have to do is get a furnace. So let's get a furnace right here. Some coal or anything that you could use to smelt it. And yeah, you just put the wet sponge in the furnace and let it smelt. So out here you'll see it. It's like just like in real life when you melt a sponge or smelt a sponge, put it in heat, it'll come out with a. The result will be all the water will evaporate from the heat, and that's basically what it's doing. So that's it for the sponge and the coarse dirt. Now here's the part that I was saying is giving me a lot of lag. So this will teleport us to the temple. But let me show you the new main mob first. Now this is called a guardian. This is the mob you find in the temples. So let me just reset this water. And if we place this guardian down, you can kind of see what he looks like. He has like a tail, a main body, and some spikes that go in and out. If I go into survival, if he'll find me, but if I go out of line of sight, he can't attack me, which is really good because they can't just shoot through walls or anything. He has to be able to see you. But they bring out this laser beam thing. Wait a second. See me. And then after a couple seconds, it gets orange and then zaps you. So he has kind of a build-up before he can hit you. But as you saw, they deal a lot of damage, like about 3.5 hearts. Around that. So yeah, let's go back to here. So we have a couple new blocks. Our main block is called Prismarine. We also have the Sea Lantern, which is like glowstone, but for underwater. We have Prismarine Brick and Dark Prismarine. And I will show you the crafting recipes for those later, but right now let's get to that temple. Okay, so here we are. we'll look at the temple in a minute. But to go down there, you're gonna probably need two main things. Well, something that's been in the game for a while is the respiration helmet. So it's an enchantment that you can apply to yourself, and you can see underwater. So like this. So let me show you the temple real quick. It's pretty big, very big, probably one of the. And as you can see there, there's actually two other mobs, which we'll check real quick. But if I take this off, it gets really dark. So that you'll probably need to see. And over here is the Depth Strider boots. So this is a new enchantment. It allows you to actually run underwater on a surface. So let's just go down here. Yeah. So as you can see, we can sprint underwater and stuff. And here's some guardians. So these guardians guard the temple. And as you might have seen, there were elder guardians, which are inside, which are like the bosses of the temple. And they drop sponge. So that's how you get the sponge in this game. So the first temple you go to, you can't just use the sponge to hollow out all the water inside. You actually have to get in one first, and then you can bring sponge on all your other expeditions to these things and get more sponges. Okay, so now that we have our stuff, you can see we have mining fatigue 3. So if I do this, did you see that? That was the skin / face of the Elder Guardian. So actually, let's swim down here, and there is an entrance to this thing. You just gotta break through a little bit of it. So if we swim down to the bottom, you can see here's an entrance. Here are the sea lanterns working. As you can see, it kind of lights up the room. But if we break down this wall here, we come into this room, right? Now, this is kind of like a randomly generated thing. So you can swim up in lots of places and stuff. But the mining fatigue is for a purpose, so that you can't just break through every wall and get there easily. They kind of make it so that it's a maze. And the cool thing is, there's not like, even if you just copied and pasted this to another place, it's not, the mining fatigue isn't from the temple itself, it's from the guardians. So wherever there's this thing, guardians will spawn, this type of structure, and wherever guardians are, it'll give you the effects. So I think we're getting close here. So we're using our trusty Depth Strider boots to stride through the depths. And here we are, we're in the center. Now here we have some of the dark prismarine blocks. And hiding behind them is 8 blocks of gold. So there is there's a couple purposes of coming here. All these new blocks, and all the stuff. So here's some gold that you can obtain. Now let's try and find us one of these Elder Guardians, because I know we saw some in some unloaded chunks. I'll be right back when I find one. Okay, so I found one. You can kind of see its tail right here, and here it is. This is the normal Guardian. It's bluish and has red spikes. Kind of looks like a squid. And this is the Elder Guardian. It has a kind of pale texture, a red eye right here, and some blue spikes with white tips. And then it's just giant, like 3 blocks by, it looks like 2.5 blocks by 2.5 blocks. Yeah, so anyway, it has a lot of health. And if I were to do this in survival mode with full diamond armor, it would have to be like full enchanted for me to kill this thing. Because it does a lot of health. And as you can see, it's kind of swimming away from me. But just kill it. Yes, it's not health. And here are the 3 things that it can drop. Wet sponges, prismarine crystals, and prismarine shards. So now let's get out of here. You saw when you spawn. And it's actually kind of hard because there are these things all over. So, oh, there's another one. I was looking forever to find these guys because they're hiding in the but yeah, basically these guys have like all these effects and stuff. And then I don't think they might respawn or not. This is a fairly new snapshot, so I've done all the research that's really possible at this point. But yeah, let's go back. So now we can craft this stuff. So prismarine. I don't have anything these dispensers because we're gonna craft it ourselves. So we need a crafting table. What? There we go. Okay. So we're gonna take a stack of these and do this, and we get the regular prismarine block. If we make it an all 9, you get the prismarine bricks. And let me see if I got this right the first time. If we do this, no, it's the other way around. The dark prismarine is a mix of the prismarine bricks and okay, so this is a sea lantern actually. Dark prismarine. Well, anyway, I know it's craftable. But yeah, you get what I mean. And that's basically it for the snapshot today. Retextured sponges, and all that stuff. So, thanks for watching.